Hello, students. Welcome to the DUJAT Rapid Revision series. I hope you all are doing well. And since the exam is just round the corner, I'm sure you're equally excited and nervous as well. So I thought we better do a session on the topic that we find most challenging. And this one, if you guessed right, is vocabulary. So today I thought let me throw a challenge your way. Let's see how well you are prepared by now. So what we'll do is we'll look at new words, we'll understand their meaning, and first you'll give the answer, then I'll tell you whether you're right or not, okay? Hello, good to see you. Right, so let's just get started, okay? So first thing, let me give you say a background of few things and then we'll start the challenge, all right? Well, I thought I better tell you some more root words so that you have a better foundation. Well, the first root word that I have for you is hello, good to see you all. Well, the first root word that I have for you is path. Now, path means feeling, and let me give you a slight background of this as well, though I've done this in many sessions before. See, to learn vocabulary, to understand vocabulary, there can be a very simple method. What we do here is we say, look at root words. Now, if you know the meaning of the root, the other words which are derived from this root will have something in common with the root itself. So, if you know the meaning of the root, that means you know the meaning of that word that came from, that was derived from that root. Now, for example, if the word is path, which means feeling, and the word is sympathy, that means you have compassion for the feelings of others. That means you're considerate to the feelings of others. Uh, Now there is this word empathy. Now, empathy means you kind of understand how the other feels. So when you say, "Oh, I understand how you're feeling," that means you're trying to put yourself in the other person's shoe. So that is what empathy means. So when you empathize with others, you try and understand how the other person feels. And then there is a word apathy. Now, this means you do not understand the feeling of others, as in you're not concerned about the feeling of others. So you're indifferent. Okay. Well, that's what this means. Big hello. Welcome to the session. Well, let's continue. Now, let's take a look at another word and then we'll start the vocabulary challenge. The next root that I have for you is ente. Now, ente simply means before. So, if at all you come across a word which has ente and then something affixed or prefixed to it, it would mean it would relate you to, say, the word before. Now, let's look at some examples. So the word is antecedent. Now, antecedent is anything that precedes something, anything that will come before something else. So that's antecedent. Now, antediluvian. Antediluvian simply means before the flood. Now we're talking about the biblical flood. So before the flood, that period, that time, that era, antediluvian. Now, antenatal, this simply means before birth. So the moment a child is conceived till the time it takes birth, that period, that process, that's antenatal. Now, there's another word, I'm sure you're familiar with this. When you say AM, say it's 8 a.m., that is ante meridium, that is before noon. So, ante simply means before. So, all the words that are derived from the word ante, affixed or prefixed to the word ante, become before. Okay. Now, let's look at another root. This one is a very, say, I'll say commonly used root. This one is ebb, that is away. Now, ebb simply means away. So, if at all I say absent, that means you're away from the class. You're absent from the class. So, if you're mentally absent, you're physically there, but you're mentally away from the class. Now, that was the simplest of the examples that I could have quoted for you. Now, let's look at the word abnormal. Now, abnormal means away from normal. So, who's abnormal? Somebody who's not usual self, right? Somebody who's behaving strangely is behaving abnormally, away from normal. Now, there's another one, abduct. Now, abduct simply means kidnap. That means somebody's taken away without permission, of course. Abdicate, very high frequency word, I'd say. Abdicate simply means you step away from, say, the position or the title that you have been given. So let's say the teacher said, "Oh, you're the monitor of the class," or somebody said, "No, you're the ruler of this kingdom." But you said, "No, sorry, I don't want this responsibility." So you step away from the responsibility. So you abdicate. So you step away from the responsibility the position that was given to you. Abrasive is, say, the sandpaper. So what you do, you say scrub away the extra things when you use a sandpaper, let's say on a pot. And if somebody has an abrasive nature, so he is a bit rude and harsh, he doesn't really care. So he's abrasive, so scraps away. Then there is no, Kiran, that's not how it works. See, up may mean away, but duck doesn't mean taken. So, sometimes two different words are put together. Now they form another word. That doesn't really mean that both the words separately hold some meaning, okay? But then that was a good question. Now, hey, all right, let's look at the next one. Ablution. Now, this simply means washing. So, generally, washing, say, yourself. So, say somebody is ablution simply means washing one way or the other. It has something to do with washing away the dirt or just washing yourself is ablution. Now, now let's start. See, I was being very generous when I shared some methodology with you to say improve your vocabulary. Now let's come to the challenge. Let's see how you fare. Now see. The kind of questions that you do expect to see in the DUJAT paper is that, one of the most common question types is that they'll give you a direct question, they'll give you a word, they'll give you some, say, options, answer choices, and they'll say, okay, find the most suitable antonym or the word that is opposite in meaning to the given word. That's the most common question type, which generally appears in the DUJAT paper. So, um, this is what this question is about. But then, students, it's always a good strategy to actually read the paper, the question very carefully before you start answering, because it's important to understand the question, okay? Or if there is any condition that's there in the question. So let's quickly read it together. Harshita, I don't quite understand what you're saying. Okay, Harshita has given the answer. Let's see. So the question says, in the following question, a word in bold letter followed by five alternatives marked A to E. Select the alternative that conveys opposite meaning as the word given in the bold letter. So the first word is voluble. That's great. Very good, Laksha. Mansi says D. Taciturn. All right. Well, let me give you the context of the word, then you can tell me what the answer is. Let's do it this way, okay? See, voluble is somebody who can talk well. So somebody who's fluent and can talk incessantly, that is, can talk excessively, is voluble. It's an adjective. Now, does it mean tender? No, it does not. Tender is soft. Capacious is commodious, something that's spacious. Then fragile. Fragile simply means delicate. Taciturn, yes, it means uncommunicative, reticent, somebody who's withdrawn, somebody who's reserved. And garrulous, well, garrulous simply means very talkative. Again, so if we need the opposite, no, Jyoti, why would it be E? See, garrulous is actually the synonym for voluble. We need the opposite. See, that's what the question says. We need the opposite. So the opposite would be yes. A lot of you have given the right answer. Yes, it would be D. Taciturn. Good answer choice. Now let's look at the next question. No, Jyoti, it would not be E, it would be D. See, garrulous is similar in meaning, it's not opposite in meaning, okay? Now let's look at the next one. Perfide. Well, fid is another root which means trust. So fid means trust, and perfide means mistrust, no trust, absence of trust, or disloyalty. So, there is no loyalty. So, it's a very negative word as such. Now, if perfidy means disloyalty, let's understand. We need the opposite, right? Felony simply means a serious crime, something as serious as, say, abduction or extortion or, say, murder, something like that. Now, loyalty, we all know, means the state of being faithful. Mockery simply means ridiculing someone. So you're making fun of somebody when you're mocking someone. Antagonism simply means hate. And agnosticism means that we are not sure whether the divine exists. We don't know. When we say we haven't seen it, we don't know it. So that's antagonism. Let's see what the answer is. Yes, very good, students. So if perfidy is disloyalty, the opposite can only be loyalty. Fantastic. Very good. Now let's see. Abhorrence. Now, ab is another root. I mean, we discussed the word ebb. Ebb means away. Abhorrence actually means away from, say, love. So if somebody is away from love, he's full of hatred. He doesn't love. Somebody who's abhorrent is somebody who doesn't love. So he's full of hatred. That's what abhorrence. Abhorrence actually is a noun. Now, is it disgust? Now, disgust is repulsion. You don't like something. You kind of not happy with something. Admiration, say when you admire someone, you respect someone, you approve of them. Animus is the word that became animosity. Now, animosity again means feeling of hate or anger. Okay. Pathos is something that evokes pity, something that evokes sadness. And loathsome is again hateful. Now we need something that's opposite in meaning. So let's just see what's the answer. Uh, okay, yes, absolutely right. Fantastic. So if abhorrence is hatred, the opposite out of the given words can only be admiration. Fantastic. No, you're not. All right, fine. Let's look at the next one. Inculpate. Now, see, this also comes from a root word culp. Now, culp means blame. So, inculpate, exculpate, culpable, culprit. Culprit is somebody who's committed a crime, somebody who can be blamed for the crime. That's who a culprit is. So, culp means blame. Now, inculpate means somebody who's blamed or somebody who's accused. Now, let's see. Exonerate. Actually, exonerate means acquit someone of their charge or say free someone of the charge. Now, arraign simply means indict, as in, say, formally accuse someone that, okay, you are the one who made a mistake. So, kind of charging someone of the, say, misconduct. Incarcerate simply means to imprison somebody. Indict again simply means to accuse someone, formally say that, okay, you are the culprit, you made a mistake. Debase is simply, say, degrade someone. Oh, I think I've already got the answer. Fantastic. Yes, that's right. So, inculpate means to blame, and exonerate means to free someone, okay, off the charge. Is that absolutely right? So, the answer here would only be A. Fantastic, students. Good job. Now, let's look at the next word. This one is ambiguous. It's a beautiful word. Now, ambiguity simply means there is no clarity. So, if somebody says something or does something that is not clear, that's ambiguous. So it's not clear. There's no clarity, right? That's ambiguity. Now let's see. See, there's this word unequivocal. Now, equivocal actually means ambiguous. So, as in, that is ambiguous because more than one, whatever has been said or done can be interpreted in more than one way. So, if you can interpret it in more than one way, there's no clarity. You don't know whether, say, if somebody did something, whether it meant this or that. There's no clarity. But unequivocal, on the other hand, means say there is clarity. So there is no doubt. Now, perplex again means baffling or confusing or puzzling. Befuddle. Fuddle actually means confusion. So befuddle, somebody who's confused. Murky actually means dark, but then it also means obscure. So it's dark, so it's no clear. It's not clear. So if the water is murky, you can't see through the water. Generally, water is supposed to be transparent, but murky water, not transparent. Uncertain, not certain. Oh, yes, I've already got the answer. So ambiguous means unclear, and unequivocal means clear. Very good. Good answer choice, people. All right, let's look at the next one. Clumsy simply means awkward, something that's not in the right shape. So awkward. Now, adroit simply means skillful. If somebody is adroit, I mean, an adroit person is a skillful person. Now, messy, sometimes we all are messy. We know this word already, right? Messy is somebody who's not very neat freak. Convoluted simply means complicated. So we sometimes convolate our life. Boorish simply means somebody who's an uncouth, ill-mannered, rough person. It's an adjective and has a slightly negative connotation. Gauche. Now, this simply means somebody who doesn't have the social skills. So he wouldn't use a fork or a knife when he's sitting in a restaurant. Maybe he'll use his hands. So not really lacking social skills is a gauche. Now, if clumsy is awkward, the opposite in the word opposite in meaning to this one should be, well, it should be adroit, right? Let's look at the next word now. Apathy. Well, we've read this word. Apathy simply means, yes, apathy simply means indifference. See, you do not understand. You're not really concerned about the feeling of others. So apathy is indifference, nonchalance. It's a beautiful word which simply means a calm, cool composure. Now, rebuttal is the act of, say, refuting or denying something. So you're saying, no, I don't know, I didn't do it. So that's what a rebuttal is. Now you have antipathy. Now, antipathy means hostility. Okay. Empathy means understanding. So you try to put yourself in the other person's shoe, remember? That's what this means. And then you have fortune. Fortune is concerned or related to being lucky, fortunate. Now, if apathy is indifference, the answer to this one should be absolutely right. Well, this one should be empathy. That means you're trying to understand the feelings of other people. Now, let's see what's the next one. This one is veneration. It's a beautiful word. It simply means a lot of respect for someone. So, veneration, respect, admiration. Dissuasion simply means you're trying to dissuade someone from, say, doing what they're doing. So you're kind of persuading somebody not to do something that they are doing at present. So that's what dissuasion means. Ignorance is the state of not knowing. So there is no awareness when there is ignorance. Passivity is, say, you accept what's happening, so you become quiet and you don't say anything, you keep accepting what's happening. So you're passive here. Contempt means hatred or anger or no respect. Honor simply means, say, honor, very common word. Here you mean to say you respect somebody. Okay, let's see. The answer here would be no, yes, it would not be ignorance. See, veneration is respect, and ignorance is there is no awareness actually. That is the reason why there is ignorance. So, respect and not being aware, these are two different things altogether. It is more to do with contempt. See, contempt is, say, dislike for something. You don't like something. So, if you don't like something, maybe you don't even respect it. So, contempt is a better answer choice compared to ignorance. Okay? Yeah, that's a better answer choice, Suraj. Let's see the next one. Now we are talking about Sahej, I'll just answer. I'll get back to you. Let's quickly finish this and I'll answer your question, okay? Now, this one says again, we need to find something that conveys similar in meaning. So, similar meaning. That means we've been asked synonyms this time. Now, let's see. This says conferring benefits. Now, conferring benefits is kind of giving benefits to others. Now, this means somebody who's doing this, the good thing, right? Let's just see. Beneficent, amortize, carte blanche, audacious. Audacious is somebody who's bold and daring and he does whatever he has to do. So if somebody is doing something with audacity, he's doing it boldly, is not bothered about others. Carte blanche simply means complete freedom to do something. So if somebody does something carte blanche, he's not restricted by anybody. He's doing what he wants to do. He's at liberty. Then you have amortize. Amortize simply means to reduce or to pay off. So and then you have beneficent. Bene is a very positive root, which means the good, the feeling of good for others. Now, benevolent or charitable or altruistic. So you put others before yourself, you think of others before yourself if you are benevolent or beneficent or charitable or altruistic. Now, who would do that? Who would give benefits? Well, somebody who's beneficent, right? So the answer here is A. Yeah, absolutely right. The next one, abrupt. Now, abrupt means something that finishes suddenly. So there is this sudden element in abrupt. So I'm telling you a story, and all of a sudden I stop. Okay, I say, okay, end of the story. So I ended my story abruptly. Or maybe it's all sunny outside and you're walking and you're enjoying the weather, and suddenly it starts raining. You could say, oh, it started raining abruptly. So that's what. Hi, Anishk. Beautiful name, I'd say. Well, let's carry on. Now, abrupt means sudden. Okay. So does it mean designed to excite love? Does it mean beginning, ending, or changing suddenly or with a break? Or does it mean a branch of pneumatic? Now, pneumatic actually has to do with air pressure. So the tires, they're called pneumatic tires, if you know. Why? Because they deal with air pressure. So the branch of pneumatics that treats the equilibrium, pressure, and mechanical properties. Does it mean that? Or to move fast? What do you think it means? Absolutely right, people. Yes, that means beginning, ending, or changing suddenly. That's what abrupt is. Let's see. Let's look at the next word now and let's see how you fared. Abdicate. I think we've read this word. Now, abdicate simply meant stepping away. Remember? Now, let's see. An officer who receives or transmits the orders of the general, a person or thing that aids, principal agent, primitive, unsophisticated. Well, that's uncouth. To give up royal power or the like. So, I mean, so you're just giving up something, be it your power or anything that relates to it or is similar to it. So, what do you think is the answer to this one? Abdicate, does it mean an officer who receives and transmits the orders? Does it mean a person or a thing that aids principal agent? Is it primitive or unsophisticated? Or is it giving up the title or the power or the throne or the crown that you were, say, given? Very good. That's like my student. Very good. Yes, the answer would be D, to give up. Fantastic. Evolution, I think we've read this word. So evolution simply meant a manually skilled labor. Is it dry and barren? Is it ash colored or pale? Or is it washing? Yes, Anish, that's absolutely right. Fantastic. Renounce. That's the word. What does this one mean? Number four. Answer this one now, people. Evolution. What do you remember? We discussed this word in the beginning of the session, right? What does it mean? Does it mean a manually skilled worker? Is it dry or barren? Is it ash colored or is it washing? Absolutely right. Well, this one is washing. Now let's move on to the next one. Erratic. Now, erratic is anything that is completely inconsistent. So sometimes our schedule becomes erratic when we say get up late in the morning, then we start our day late, then we go out, say on an outing with our friends, and we come home, we study a little, then we watch TV a little, and then we sleep late and we get up late. Maybe next morning we get up early. So, and then we study. So there's no system. We're completely inconsistent, so that is what erratic is. Now, if this is erratic, what does it mean? Does it mean unpredictable? Does it mean display or wave boastfully? Does it relate to countryside? Does it mean dry or barren? That's right. It means unpredictable or inconsistent, erratic. Now let's see. Let's look at the next word. This one is expound. Now, expound simply means it's a very academic word. Now, this simply means you're trying to say tell something to someone and you're trying to say enlighten somebody here. So, does it mean express sorrow or grief? Does it mean to set forth in detail, to explain? Does it mean to make gestures or does it mean a god? What does expound mean? Any ideas? Expound? It's an academic word. Well, expound simply means yes. No, Bharti, it doesn't mean to make gestures, it means to explain. So if somebody is trying to expound something to you, he's trying to explain something to you, okay? He's trying to give you reasons. Yeah, that's right. Now, the next one, hearsay. Now, again, a very high frequency word. Yes, that's right. Now, the next one, hearsay. Now, hearsay is something that's against the popular belief. in a particular religion. So if somebody has a real, I mean, has is a they follow a belief or they are accustomed to certain things, and hearsay would be something that contradicts that belief. So anything that goes against the popular belief of a religion or a particular community, that would be considered a hearsay. Now let's just see. Now, is it despotic? Now, despot is somebody who's authoritarian, somebody who holds all the power. So, you know, power vested in the hand of one person. So that one person is despot, and that kind of society would be a despotic society. Then you have historical record. Well, it's not even close. An opinion held in opposition to the traditional view. Well, that's what. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Well, that's what a hearsay is. So, whatever, I mean, if at all there is a thought that contradicts or it goes against the popular belief system of a particular community or a society or, say, traditional view, that's what a hearsay is. Yes, and that's what the answer is. Coward, well, it's not nowhere close to the word hearsay. Coward is somebody who's not courageous. Let's see. Let's look at the next one now. Acrimonious. Now, students, I hope you're making note of the spelling as well because you're in the DUJAT paper. They give you at least one question where they test you on your spelling, and you need to have a good control over the spelling as well. Every mark counts, students. You should keep that in mind. Well, let's look at this one. Now, ac is another root which comes from the word, I mean, which means acid. Now, acid is not sweet. Acid is, or acidic is something that's not even positive in nature. So acrimonious is a word with a negative connotation. And let's just see what it means. Is it full of bitterness? Is it not conformed? Now, conform simply means follow what's happening, not conform to ordinary rule or standard. Is it apathy? Is it anarchist? Anarchist is somebody who doesn't believe in the government system. So he's kind of anti-government. Okay, let's see. Yes, the answer is yes, full of bitterness. That's what acrimonious. That's who an acrimonious person is. That's an adjective, a very negative adjective. Now let's see. Let's look at the last word here. Um, there's a picture that I've added to explain a word. Let's see. The word is trite. Now, trite simply means something that lacks originality. So, if you're not inventive, if you're not original, and you've kind of just taken an inspiration or an idea from somebody and then you create it, you could say that, okay, it's a trite creation, not an original creation. So, that's what trite is. Now, there's a word baroque. Now, Baroque simply means relating to that old era, and it was mainly characterized by being ornate or fancy. So, big and fancy things. Ornate is actually something really decorated and fancy, ostentatious. So that's what Baroque is. Now you have boor. Boor simply means, I guess we've read this word before. Boorish person was an uncouth person who did not have, who was rough, who did not have who was someone who was ill-mannered. So boor is somebody who's rude. Camera is the word that I wanted to explain through this picture. Now, camera is say a mythological character where, I mean, the body was that of a lion and the head was that of a goat. And then, of course, there's the serpent instead of the tail. So this picture, this character that comes from, say, ancient mythology, that is what who a chimera is. Now you have a word banal. No, it's not boring. It's banal, actually. Banal means something that's cliched. Now, cliche simply means something that has been overused so frequently that it kind of doesn't even sound good to the ears. So, banal is something that's not original, something that's cliched, or something that has been overused. And that's exactly what trite means, something that's not original. Okay, well, so the correct synonym for the word trite would be nothing but banal. So this is your right answer. No, 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 no. It's not chimera. It's a chimera is this. This figure is chimera. Yes, hackneyed. Absolutely right. Hackneyed. Now let's talk about idioms. See, you can be asked idioms in the DUJAT paper, so I thought, why not talk about them in the session? So let's just look at them. Let's look at some of them, all right? Okay. Now let's see. Again, let's read the question to be sure. So it says that you need to choose an expression that expresses the meaning of the idiom printed in bold. Now, the first one says to be in two minds. Now, picture a person. Now, this is the head of this person. And if he's in two minds, so is his left brain and his right brain, so he's not able to, if see, if he is in two minds, what do you think it means? Does it mean he's dominated by someone else? Does it mean he's uncertain? Does it mean to work on someone else's advice? Or does it mean to be in a critical state that is in a, say, critical state would be a difficult state? What do you think it means to be in two minds? Does it mean being dominated or working on someone's advice? Does it mean a critical, difficult state? Or does it mean to be uncertain? Actually, to be in two minds simply means uncertain. So let's just say you have two very good choices, choice A and choice B. Now that's you, okay? And you have this pleasant smile and some hair on your head. Now, you're not able to decide whether you should choose A or B. It's then when you'll say that, oh, I'm in two minds. I can't decide. I'm uncertain. I don't know which road to take. So, to be in two minds simply means to be uncertain because there is more than one choice. Okay. Now let's look at the next one. Leave to sink or swim. Now think about it. Somebody, now let's say this is the water, somebody sitting on a boat very comfortably, and there is this person in the water. Now, and there's this person in the boat. Now, he doesn't help the person, he leaves him here. He says, okay, your fate, you decide whether you want to swim or you want to sink. Now, what do you think this idiom means? Leave one to sink or swim. Uh, Kiran, I don't quite understand what you're asking, but then let's answer this one first. To be in a dilemma, I mean, dilemma means being in two mind, to put one in difficulty, to leave to one's fate, not to help one. What does it mean? You think it's B? Yeah, I think that too. See, to leave someone to sink or swim doesn't mean to leave someone to be in a dilemma. Being in a dilemma means to be in two minds, actually. Now, to put one in difficulty, now see, this person did not throw the other person. Let's say if this is A and this is B, he did not throw him in the water. B is already in the water. He just didn't help him. So it doesn't mean to put one in difficulty. Yes, he's left him. Now, if he swims, he'll come out of the water. And if he decides to sink, that means he'll never come out of the difficulty. So to leave one to sink and swim only means to leave one to one's fate. Very good answer choice, people. I hope everything is okay now. Let's look at the next one. To rip up old source. Now, I'm sure you know the Hindi version of this one, though I don't remember the exact words right now, but this one is, we have a similar saying in Hindi as well for this one. So, to rip up old sore. Sore actually means a wound, an injury. Now, to rip it up means you are kind of, say, there is a wound on somebody's body and he's kind of touching it again and he's fiddling with it time and again. So does it mean to revive a choral which was almost forgotten? Is it? All right. Yes, Purnima, I guess you're right. I hope things are okay now. All right, let's look at the answer now. Now, does it mean to censure someone? Does it mean to strain one's thought? Does it mean to perverse oneself from harm? preserve oneself from harm. No, it means only means to revive a coral that was almost forgotten. Very good. Yes. Still buffering? Don't worry, it'll be fixed. The next one now, a very good idiom. You could learn a lot from this one. To take the wind out of someone's sail. Well, it has another name else as well. To knock the wind out of someone's sail. It simply means, say, on purpose, we do something to lower the confidence of the other person so that we have an advantage over them. And sometimes we do that, right? So that's what this means. Now, does it mean to maneuver or misleads another one? On the high sea, literally, because sail is what you see in a boat. Let's say if this is a boat, this cloth, this is a sail. Now, does it mean maneuver or mislead someone on a high sea? Does it mean causing harm to someone? Does it mean defeat the motives of another? Does it mean anticipate another and gain advantage over him? What does it mean? All right. The others, what do you think this one means? To take wind out of someone else's sail. That's absolutely right. Now let's move on to the next one. To run amok. It's a very good idiom. This simply means going berserk. That means going crazy. Now, does it mean run a race? Does it mean feel exhausted? Does it mean to run about in frenzy? To run to somebody's help? So if going berserk is going crazy. Now, what do you think this one means? Does it mean to run a race? Does it mean to feel exhausted? Does it mean to run about in a frenzy? Or does it mean to run to help someone? Vishal, is this the answer to the fourth question or the fifth question? You better mention the question part number as well. For the fifth, Purnima says it's the absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. Yes. So to run about in a frenzy, to go crazy means to run amok. Very good. Absolutely right. The next one now. Okay. A greenhorn. Now, green generally is used either for envy, jealousy, or for something that's new, comparatively new. Let's see. Does it mean envious? Does it mean a trainee? Does it mean an inexperienced man? Does it mean a soft-hearted man? Let's just see what you have to say about this one. A greenhorn. Well, it has one specific meaning only, and it doesn't change. A greenhorn. That's a good one. All of you, fantastic. But what do we mean by a greenhorn? Does it mean envious? Does it mean an inexperienced person, a trainee, or a soft-hearted person? Well, let me tell you, it does not mean a soft-hearted person at all. No, Yash. It means actually, see, so idioms have specific meanings. So you have to kind of, I mean, and the thing with these is that you can try and guess the meaning, but most of the times it's either you know it or you don't. No, it's an inexperienced person. A greenhorn simply means an inexperienced person. It doesn't mean a trainee. The next one now, to play to the gallery. Now, to play to the gallery simply means trying to get appreciation from the least intelligent people. Now, let's look at the last one. A fool's errand. No, it does not mean a trainee. It means an inexperienced person. Now, the last one, the last idiom for the day, a fool's errand. See, errand is the work that we do. So, the simple chores that we sometimes do. Now, fool's errand is it a blunder? Is it an impossible task? Is it a useless undertaking? Or is it none of these? What do you think? If, see, errand is a task, a regular task that is done, And if we say it's a fool's task, what do you think it could possibly mean? Is it a blunder, a mistake? Is it a useless undertaking? Is it an impossible task? Or is it none of these? Well, it's a useless undertaking. So, I mean, the idea here is that you're doing something. So errands essentially means a task. You're doing something, but it won't say give you the desired output. Maybe it'll be futile, and there's no point putting in effort into the thing that you're doing because we already know that there would be no positive result. So that's the reason why a fool's errand simply means a useless undertaking, a task that would yield no result. Well, students, with this I come to the end of this session. I hope you were able to gain something. I will be well, a trainee means somebody who's new to a job. It doesn't really mean, say, it doesn't really mean inexperience. A trainee could have an experience as that is new in the job. But there's slight difference in the two, okay? Now, students, with this, I take your leave. I'll be back tomorrow with another session of vocabulary challenge. Be prepared. Let's see. Okay? Take care. And of course, you can send in your comments if at all there's anything that you would like to know. We would love to respond.